The Live Financially Savvy podcast was created by Atia, the savvy accountant. She is a CPA, CA, and certified financial educator instructor. She has a passion for building generational wealth and wants to help you and others to do the same. She's created the podcast to help others live financially savvy. Lower your debt and build your net worth using techniques you learned here from others doing amazing things to live financially savvy.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Live Financially Savvy podcast. I'm your host, Atia, aka the Savvy Accountant, and today I'm speaking to Jasmine Green. So we both connected because we both were intrigued by what the other was doing in the financial world. We have similar passions of helping people from our communities get better with their finances and basically live their best financial lives. And so we connected and decided that it would be a good idea to have Jasmine on the podcast to talk about her background and what she's doing to help millennials right now. So a little bit background, Jasmine Green is the 27. Yes, she's 27. She's a 27-year-old CEO of a Black-owned financial service brokerage firm called Wealth Initiative Financial Group. What she's passionate about is positioning African-American millennials with resources, knowledge, and practices that they need in order to feel financially secure and reverse the curse of generational poverty in their families. So we talk about money mindset. We talk about our first encounters with money and our first memories. And we talk about basically what mindset was instilled in you from how you were brought up, how you were raised. And so we tackle those stuff. We tackle a lot of the things that we're passionate about, talking about generational wealth and how we can build it. And so we get into that and read the show notes after the episode, because I will be posting stuff about her trading program. She actually has a new trading program that she's launching, so you can sign up for that. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the episode with Jasmine, and I look forward to hearing your comments on this episode. Hey, so welcome to the podcast. I want to thank you for being on.
Sure.
I actually like to get my guests to tell the audience about themselves in their own words. I read your bio, but I like the audience to hear about you in your own words. So if you could just tell us about your background, how you got started, how you created your company, and so they know about you from you.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Jasmine P Green. I'm a finance and trading strategist. Funny thing how I got started. So just kind of how pretty much everybody gets started. We go to school for one thing and then we end up doing something totally different. I was one of those who, I cared about what everybody said and, what they thought I should do. So I went with it, I did very well. My first degree plan was biology. I even tutored chemistry, cellular, molecular biology, just all that. And I remember waking up one day and I felt out of place. I couldn't put my finger on it. I just knew that, okay, even though I'm cool at this, I'm good at it, I don't think this is my thing. And I remember that night, it was back in 2010. I stayed up all night long just researching things finance. I can't tell you how it just dropped into me. But I just remember, just going through a whole lot. Then one thing led to another. And I just I started my path of wanting to be and learn more about this particular industry. I got my insurance license, so I'm a producer. I'm able to protect families and businesses and all of that. And in the midst of all of that, I've learned so much when it comes down to people's finance and filling in gaps when it comes down to their strategies and making sure that they know what is going on with their money. You just be surprised at a lot of people. They're like, oh yeah, I got this and I need this policy for that. And I'm like, well, that's going to expire. You might want to look at something else. So, went through several, workshops, hooked up with a couple of, 7-figure mentors. I'm attracted to people that are where ultimately I would like to be. So learned a whole lot, and I have been able to scale and grow. So currently right now, I do own a financial services brokerage. It's called the Wealth Initiative Financial Group. We are managing about $4.9 million in client assets now, and we are not that old. We're less than 6 months old, 6 to 8 months old, I would
That's
say.
awesome.
Yeah. Whenever I think we should cross over 5 million, I'm already just like, hey, waiting for it. But yeah, whenever we do, I'm gonna throw a massive party. You're totally invited. So that's gonna be a huge milestone. But yeah, I was just I was just one of those kids, young adults, whatever you want to call it, who just was like, hey, this path that I'm on, this is not what I want to do. Let me follow my heart. Let me follow my first mind. And, I went with that. So that's how I got to where I am now.
That is very impressive. The fact that you were tutoring people in like molecular biology.
Right. Right. Girl, I still remember how to draw the double helix of a DNA. Yeah, I mean, it was deep. It was fun while it lasted, but no, not me.
That's awesome. And the fact that you like just felt it and then you just ran with it is pretty impressive.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
And so your company, you said that you guys manage $4.9 million. So what services do you guys offer to your clients?
Yeah. So, wow, it's a lot. It's very, very, very intense. We offer several different types of insurance policies, whole life term, IUL products, just so many different things that can really touch on different goals one may have, whether it be to sweeten up the deal when it comes to retirement planning, or maybe they just had a baby and they want something to mature and they'll be able to draw out from it when the child is when it's time for them to go to college. Or, hey, let me just protect your home and protect your business. If you've taken out a mortgage or a leasing agreement, then we can make sure that if something happens to you, then we can still make that monthly bill. So we do that. I do a lot of financial coaching, especially when it comes down to literacy. I just try to make it plain and simple, but not so much boring, because whenever you hear the word financial literacy, I'm yawning. I'm getting ready to yawn now. So it's just it's one of those things that you have to spice up for people, for them to be like, okay. So I do a lot of coaching, one-on-one. I do a lot of group things with people. I also offer a lot of trading when it comes down to investment courses, stuff like that, just to get people in the know. What is this? How does it work? I'm the go-to for that. So not only is it, product side, I love it, don't get me wrong, but I really enjoy the fact of being able to work with folks and let something that I've taught them really catapult them to the next level. So we offer, in a nutshell, products and services, but those products and services, they run very deep.
Yeah. And so the fact that you say that you like to teach and watch it manifest. So I feel like
Yes.
that's how we connected. And so my passion with this whole podcast is basically to get the knowledge out there so people can hear it, and then they can start taking steps to basically living financially savvy. And so I'm the type, like, I wouldn't consider myself like a teacher, but when I learn something, I want to share it. So
exactly,
I thought that the podcast was like a great way to do that, because I'm not sure if I have the teacher spirit, because I have 2 kids and I'm not the best tutor with them. So
okay,
but they get the concept of what I'm teaching, and it happens that they grasp things fast. So that works out in our favor. But when I learn something, I want to share it. And I feel like that's the same way you are. And so that's why I wanted to get you on the podcast. So when it comes to finances, like you said, it could be a bore when people hear financial literacy, but the main part is mindset. I'm not sure if there's another word, and I know that's like a buzzword nowadays, but it basically boils down to how you think is going to manifest itself, and, speak those words and it's going to come true. And there's even biblical references to that. So how do you deal with mindset, and what's your take on it? And how do you go about getting people's mindset to switch so that they're able to manifest where they're supposed to be in their finances?
Oh, yeah. So like I said, that's one of those things that are, like you said, it's buzzing right now. Everybody's like, oh, mindset, and I did I recently did a interview with the finance fam, and Kendra, she calls it, the woo, the woo woo, whatever. But mindset is everything. So, I'm gonna get a little deep with you because this is what I've found, especially when I'm dealing with African American clients, and that's actually my sweet spot. That's really who I enjoy and work with the most. So when it comes down to African Americans, this is the thing with mindset. So my mama taught me, and my mama's mama taught her, and so forth. So what I know is what she told me. I don't know really. I don't know a whole lot more than what my mama said, and what she said is that's the way it's going to be, and that's just what it is. So we really have this fixed mindset. Anything that's coming at us that's different, we're not really receptive to it. So that's one thing. Yep. The other thing is really and truly the lack of knowledge. So I'm just going to open up here. So my grandparents raised me. They were 60 and 61 when they got me. I was a newborn. So their parents were born in like 1900, working for the I hope this is okay to say, but for the white folks, cleaning, and their parents, guess what? They were picking cotton. So, we were, oh my goodness, it's just crazy because we were always treated like we weren't anything. We never really had anything. And the things that we did have, we worked so hard to get. And that was it. That was it. So, being that my grandparents were the ones that raised me, what they knew, they trickled it on down to me, which was really not much. Yeah. So as an adult coming into the world myself, I had to struggle. I had to really break everything before I fixed it. So that's another issue, is the fact that, we're coming from a disadvantaged background, and I feel that us as Black people, we're so powerful, so powerful. I mean, Black Panther just hopefully eradicated like every single negative idea about us. I mean, we are very, very powerful, but coming into this economy and this social economic place that we're at, we were really disadvantaged. So we really weren't given the same. We weren't as privileged, and I hate to take it there, but that's just the truth. So that's the thing. And nowadays, when people, they do, they're like, hey, I want to do better. I want to, but I'm so comfortable where I'm at. It's almost heartbreaking for somebody to break away from the things that their family has done and what they're doing now. So mindset is going to be crucial for African Americans, especially to conquer, so that we can move forward. So whenever I'm working with somebody, on mindset, especially when it comes to investing, because investing sounds good. It sounds fun. You can make a whole lot of money, but the only way that you can do that is if you let go. Yeah. We have to take risks. And the fact that we do work so hard for what we have, and, that's just a lineage, our ancestors type deal. We've had to work our fingers to the bone. We don't want to let go of anything. We want to hold on to
of it. Maybe it's going to multiply. Maybe it's not. So I'm going to lose what I just worked for.
Right. So that's one thing, you have to, and that's the attachment that goes with anything in life. You cannot hold on to nothing that tight. Yeah. It's unhealthy. So I begin there, we begin working on different challenges where if they want to begin to trade stock, then we just start out with very small accounts, and then we see what that does, and we're able to increase that. But to be honest with you, there are some people that have to go to counseling to break through some mindset issues, because I don't know if any of the listeners out there can feel me on this, but when my grandfather used to do the bills, he would sit down at the kitchen table with his checkbook, pull out all the bills. My grandma said, leave him alone. Do not talk to him while he is doing that. It's just not a good time. No, like seriously. And some of my friends said, well, yeah, my father was like that too. When it came time to pay bills, it was the most intense negative energy. It was just
Ugh.
It wasn't a good time. So when we're growing up, we remember, well, wow, dad was like this about money. And it just keeps it going.
Negative connotation
Yeah.
to be there.
Yeah. So, oh, you know what? I left out one thing. This is, I think, most important. I was thinking about this while I was walking through Walmart because I heard somebody say this. They were saying money is the root of all evil. Now, I know, the churchgoers, I know you've heard that. That's like one of the 7 sins, deadly sins. I probably should open up the book and check it out to make sure I'm not saying the wrong thing. But yeah, some people that I've found, I do remember a client saying, well, my father felt like people who were rich and who were successful were dishonest. Having a lot of money was a bad thing because that meant you had to hurt other people in order to get to that place. That's just simply not the case. Yeah. That is simply not the case. So we have to dig deep in order to find out what exactly is it that I believe about money. So that's just, I sit down with my clients, we Skype, whatever. I say, hey, let's try to figure out what is it that you think, what are your belief systems when it comes down to money? Because essentially that's gonna, spin off from, everything's gonna spin off from that.
Yep. Like I like to talk about what's your earliest memory of money? Because I know for myself, on my first episode, if you go back, I talk about the first few instances, memories that I have of money. And one of them was I begged for a birthday party and I got it. My mom, she raised us, she was a single mom. She's the real MVP. And I got my birthday party at McDonald's. It was so fun. Everything was great. And then I don't even think I was supposed to be in the room when this happened, but she must have been getting the bill when I glimpsed it, and her face, oh my gosh, switched. And I remember from that day on, I was like, I'm never asking for a birthday party. I instantly, I was 10. It was my double-digit birthday. And I remember instantly feeling the weight of, this is my fault.
Wow.
And not even to say that maybe she had budgeted for it and maybe I read her face wrong. It could have been anything. Right. All I know is my 10-year-old self took that on and was like, oh no, I cannot ask for any birthday parties. Right. I can't ask for anything because it costs too much money. And so everything I learned from money, I learned from my trial and errors, many errors. And I think it's the lack of knowledge is real. We start off so far behind, and not even to sound like you're beating a dead horse, but the reality is the reality. We start off so far behind that we're playing catch up and we really cannot catch up. And so finding out what your first memory of money is, what feelings do you have when money is brought up, when you guys are discussing money, those are all seriously powerful mind blocks. Well, mind blocks if it's negative.
Yeah.
And it's hard to break them. And you brought up therapy. I think a lot of people might need therapy if their blocks are too strong. If their strongholds are too much to just discuss with somebody that's not licensed in therapy, because they're serious holes. They're serious strongholds that people need to get over. And so I think it's great that you mentioned that.
I agree with you. And I mean, this came across my mind when you were speaking. I have a close friend of mine who, as she was growing up, security was, it wasn't there. It wasn't there. So as she grew up, she was like, okay, I definitely don't want to be back in that position. So I'm going to do everything that I can. And when the slightest thing, comes up and the flow of things are off financially, it rocks her world. She shuts down.
Yeah.
So I think there's a huge negative. It's like a negative attachment, I want to call it, to it. Like you said, just the whole idea of it, it causes some people panic, anxiety, it's the thing that keeps us up. And we feel like essentially money is a destination when truthfully it's a tool.
It's a goal.
It's a tool.
You use it, people can use it to get to your goal, but it can't be the end goal.
No, exactly.
You need to envision what you want your life to be, and money's going to play a factor in getting you there. But I truthfully believe if you feel like money is your end goal, I don't think you're going to ever achieve it.
Exactly. I agree. No, I completely agree, because it's an old adage, I want to say, Girl, I hadn't been, it's been a long time since I've been in second grade. Second graders learn about those adages and stuff like that. But it says you lose what you cling to. I mean, literally, that's the truth. It's hard for me to even try to convince somebody that, hey, even though you have an employer who is contributing to your 401k, you need a separate account. They're not okay with that, because that means that you have to put it out there. You cannot let it go. Mm-hmm. And that's going to hold you back. So mindset, even though, what I'm trying to say, we scroll through Instagram and we see, hey, mindset, make it happen, whatever. No, like seriously, you need to address some things, that are internal, that, just reading something, it cannot change. You're going to have to do the work to get through it. So to be honest, I enjoy working with people through that, because we have so many breakthroughs, and, sometimes we get tears, well, wow, I never knew that I really, this was a problem for me. Now I'm able to free myself from it and move on.
Yep.
So it's really awesome.
I think so too. And I was one of those people. Like so I'm an accountant by trade, but my personal finance life was not being taken care of. I was kind of ignoring it. I wasn't really paying attention to it, thinking that it would go away, and it doesn't, because debt doesn't just go away. Mm-mm. And literally, when I was talking about my first memories of money, it was emotional. Like I was like, I went back to my 10-year-old self, where I was like shame, like I felt shame, and we were 5 kids, so. Like I was the eldest, and I feel like right to this day, I take my role as eldest super serious, and like it definitely causes friction in some of my relationships, because I take that role and I take it seriously, where I'm the eldest, so it's my job to learn things and pass it on. And if I'm making mistakes, then they're probably going to make mistakes based on my mistakes. So I just like harbor all these things, and it really helps to talk about it. And I just remember when I first started talking about it, it was very helpful.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because when you have internal, and I call them blockages, it really affects you firstly on a metaphysical level. I guess here's that biology comes down. It affects you there. But most importantly, when you have so much negativity inside of you, it really prohibits anything else positive to come in. You're like we're walking magnets. And I'm not, I'm pretty sure people who are listening to this have heard of the law of attraction and manifesting and all these terms that sound incredible, but they come into play for us as we are magnetic beings. Truly like it's just no way around it. So we have got to make sure that on the inside we are absolutely reflecting what it is that we want on the outside, so that we can we can be in alignment, we can be okay.
I like that.
Yeah. Thank you.
So we got through the mindset, and so I wanted to discuss, because you have a brokerage company, and I know that learning about investing is major, because it's very intimidating to people. So you get past the mindset,
yes,
get to the point where you're like, okay, I created a budget, I have money that I can actually start investing after I build my emergency fund and all this. But then you get to investing, kind of like you hit a wall, because it can be complicated if you don't know what you're doing. Like you hear investing, you're like, okay, it's a way to build money, but now you have to know which companies to invest in, what type of investments to do. Are you supposed to invest in stocks? Are you supposed to invest in index? Like, I feel like it could scare a lot of people once they get to that point. So what solutions do you have to solve those?
Yeah. So first things first, I don't know about anybody else, but I feel like if I don't know, or if I'm not comfortable in my knowledge about something, there is no way that I can move forward. So I strongly suggest taking out the time, because it's not like you can, read a really deep article for about 5-10 minutes and then boom, you know exactly how to keep up with the trends and knowing, knowing how to read annual reports for companies when you're looking at what kind of stock do you want to buy. So you're going to have to take out the time to dig. If, make sure that you're pairing up with somebody who can teach you. There are courses available. I have one, that you just need to know, like, what is this? What is a stock? Why is there even stocks, period? I'm one of those deep thinkers, Atai.
Yeah.
I want to know, okay, what is that? Where did it come from? How do we even get here? So having a really good knowledge of something is a doggone good place to start. So after you know what it is, then you take that and you can apply it to maybe, okay, if you feel as if individually investing into a stock isn't for you, then maybe an umbrella of stocks, which is a mutual fund, might be better for you. You still get the dividends and things like that. Maybe, spreading the risk feels better to you than just really zeroing in on one particular, stock. So you want to make sure, like I said, you have to know, you cannot skip. I don't care. You can sit with the financial advisor and they can, take your $25,000 or $50,000 and say, hey, you know what? We want to grow this. It's going to grow XYZ%. We're going to get you on blue chip and then, you'll be good. Let's talk in the next 20 years. And you'll be like, what? You want to know because people will tell you anything, especially with these brokers. I mean, the fees are, crazy. So they're getting paid off of your investments and you want to make sure that you're confident and you're comfortable with what you're doing. So you have got to know. You can't get past that.
Yeah.
You can't. Agree. So that is I know it's like boring. Oh my gosh, really? I want to get to the fun stuff, but you got to have the knowledge, period.
The knowledge is going to lead you to the things that you need. And
exactly.
So they will get this because you said you have a program. So you have an academy where you're teaching people how to trade. So you're starting with the bottom, telling them what a stock is, what they're investing in, what does it mean to invest, letting them know that there's risk associated with it.
Yes, that flows into mindset. Anything that I do, Ataya, literally, we begin with the mindset because you can't, if you're looking at these people like Timothy Sykes and, these are day traders. These people are doing hundreds of thousands in a day just by making a trade within 6 minutes. You're coming to me with that, oh man, I want to hop on that, I want to get on it, I want to do that. But when I'm saying, okay, let's apply, look, 500, let's get your account funded, you don't you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So we really have to work on mindset to be able to get you to let go so that you can get the return you're looking for. So everything that I do begins with getting you in alignment with what it is that whatever outcome you want. But yes, I do have courses and boot camps. I do have one to where, we go over a really intense, really intense conversation and teaching over the weekend so that when Monday morning the market opens up, you're ready to place your positions and, just kind of go from there. And then I have it to where there's like I said, the academy, where there's many courses to where it's teaching you about so many different topics. It's a lot. I wish there was a way that I could put it into like a 6 or 8 week thing, but I'm a results-based coach and I don't believe in flopping stuff on people because when you walk away, you retain nothing. So I have to take my time with you. I have to. So, but yeah, that's pretty much where the trading and the investments come in at. But there's a lot of other things that I do. Like I said, I do one-on-one and group coaching and stuff, just depending on whatever the needs are. But yeah.
And I agree. I think that's a good idea. I think there's definitely a lot of courses out here that people sign up for, they do it, and then they don't take the action after. And I'm not sure if it's because they were bombarded with information, so they didn't retain anything, so they're not comfortable going forward. But I think the one-on-one, the flowing, I think that is going to be very helpful for people that are afraid of investing.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm here and I'm there with you. I answer texts, hey, you're like, man, did you see what happened with this? And I'm like, yeah, just kind of, cool it. Just calm down. It's okay, because you have to understand the nature of the market is an up and down deal. It's a yo-yo. Exactly. if that's going to drive you insane, then it's not for you. So it takes work. I'm not saying, come to me or whomever and in a month you're going to be like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm good now. No, it's an ongoing process.
Definitely.
So it's interesting.
And so now that I think we've covered mindset and we've covered the trading and investing, what's one thing that you think somebody can take away from your message today and say, okay, from this day on, I'm going to get my money, my mind right in order, and I'm going to reach out. If they want to reach out to you to start the process, to start building their portfolio.
Yeah. So, and this again, I'm not, I don't want this to be like boring and mundane, but you need to decide and be unwavering in that, make the decision, and this goes with anything, relationships, weight loss, am I going to stop eating out? Am I going to meal prep? Make the decision, decide that this is what I want to do, and don't look back. Yeah. Don't look back, and if you do look back, just let it be a point of reference. Oh, I remember I used to be silly and I used to do that, but make a decision to, I'm going to switch this up and I'm going to change and I'm going to be better. So let's begin with the first step, whatever that may be, because everybody's in different places in life and, they may know more, may know less. So you need to decide. So that is essential. That's the first thing. Reaching out to me. I'm on Instagram. Pretty much Instagram is what people call, as I say, bae. Instagram. That is where I'm able to interact with you the most and keep up with you. And you can reach out to me. It's just it's a fun platform, and I'm there. So maybe in the link or not a link in the comment section, I can drop below my handle so that we can become connected.
Yeah. So I'll definitely put that in the show notes for them so they can reach out to you.
Yeah. But overall, like seriously, just make the decision, because there's, sometimes we can talk ourselves out of stuff.
A lot of times.
Yes, a lot. And we can sabotage our growth. And, if you're like, man, okay, I've saved up, first off, let me start here. My emergency fund is maxed out. My, contributions to every other essential account that I have are maxed out. Let me begin to invest. Let me begin. I have a savings account or a money market that has about 10 or 15,000 in it. Okay, I can do this. But don't talk yourself out of it. If you want to, you're going to have to take some risks. You're going to have to. Yeah.
So you brought up different areas that are talked about in the financial world. So emergency fund, you're maxing out your contributions. So do you ever think there's a time where people shouldn't be investing? So if they're paying down debt and they're trying to do that,
Gotcha.
Is there ever a time where you advise people that they shouldn't be investing right now?
So I think investing is a healthy habit for your, financial practices. It's healthy. Where it isn't healthy is, let's just say that your outgoing is so much more than your incoming. You are up to the wazoo in debt. And let me just be clear here, because I had a very interesting conversation with a young lady earlier. Not all debt is bad. I want to clear up that misconception. Even when we hear the word debt, we're like, oh man, let's run for the hills. Let's, set something on fire. No, not all debt is bad. So let me be clear that you're up to the wazoo in bad debt, which means this is the kind that's hurting your score and that you can't free yourself from. You're not making any income off of it. So yeah, if you're, if you're like you're in a whirlwind of just negative, bad situation, then investing right now is not a good time. Now, you can learn about it. You can always learn so that when you do get into a better position, you can move forward, Yeah. But yes, if everything is crazy, then it's not a healthy environment for you to invest. Your finances, it's not there yet. that can change. That can change. But you know, you need to become a little bit more structured, maybe cut some expenses, increase the income that's coming in, you know, stuff like that. And I mean, I'm not going to say it's like an easy, quick resolve, but essentially that's how you fix that kind of problem. So at that point, you can invest.
Yeah.
Now, I do have some people who, you know, they're not really contributing to a separate retirement account. You know, they're trying to get into the hang of swing trading, or they're, you know, trying to, because when you're looking at swing and day trading, these are like short-term situations. These aren't for the long term, like a mutual fund or an IRA. These are things that, you know what, you can maybe, you can sell within a week or so, or the next day or the same day, and you're going to profit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, some people choose that as a solution to pay off debt. Is that something I would recommend? No, because you have the money to, you know, do it now. You should just do it now instead of risking it and maybe losing it, you know? Yeah. So it just depends on the person's temperament, really. It does. But to answer your question, in all honesty, if your world is upside down, and we know only you can know what that looks like and feels like. If you feel that way, then investing is not, it's not really the way right now.
Okay. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think if you're feeling overwhelmed with your debt, and I do agree that there's good debt and bad debt, if you're feeling overwhelmed with your bad debt and you can't get a grasp of it, you probably need to create your money menu, like I like to call it, and your budget. And you basically need to figure out what's coming in versus what's going out, how you can reduce what's going out and hopefully increase what's coming in. And then you can create a plan to pay your debt down. And then I think there is a point where you're still paying your debt, but you can start investing. But if you're definitely way too deep, I think you should be putting as much money to your debt.
Exactly. You really want, you know, just with anything, you know, relationships, everything, you know, even when people start a weight loss journey, they like to detox, you know, so I'll just say detoxify your financial situation before you take such risks, you know what I mean? Yeah. So just, you know, make sure that you can handle things, and, you know, you can use certain things as leverage, so that you're able to withstand, you know, such blows as the market can give you sometimes. Yeah.
So, is there anything else that you wanted to touch on? I think that we covered a lot tonight.
No, absolutely. You've asked me the essentials, literally. So there's not more, unless we want to have this podcast for the next 3 hours, have it going on, that I can add. But I think that we've gone over some really good stuff. I think that people who are listening, I'm hoping that they can begin to start asking themselves those tough questions about their relationship with money, and, you know, how do they feel, and just really start making some changes, you know. And I'm sure that, you know, you and I, we would love to hear about that. So if there's any type of aha moment that you've had, or any type of growth you've experienced, please let us know. I
definitely want to hear it. Yep.
Yeah. I love it.
So with that, I like to ask my guest what Live Financially Savvy means to them before I end the podcast.
Oh, yes. So living financially savvy, I would say, is a part of my identity. And I think it's something I've worked so hard to get to. So this is one of those things that it's a part of the major pillars of one's life. So that when I hear that, when I saw that, that's really what attracted me to you. When I saw you post in the group that day, I was like, oh yeah, I got to immediately connect, because, you know, we're in alignment with those same values. So this is something that's really, really important for individuals, business owners, organizations. You know, this is a must have. So it means everything to me. If yes, that's all I'm trying to get at. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate you taking the time. And so I'm going to be sure to link all your information in the show notes, so everybody can reach out to you, and when they want to hear about your academy, and so they can learn about trading. So thanks so much for being on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I had a really great time. Thanks for even having me on.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
So I want to thank you for listening to the Live Financially Savvy podcast. You can hear the episode at livefinanciallysavvy.com, and you can get all the show notes at livefinanciallysavvy.com. You can follow us on Instagram and on Facebook at Live Financially Savvy. Let us know what you think. Please like, comment, and share, and rate and download wherever you listen to your podcast. I really appreciate it. Thanks. Bye.